This is the unintentional part 2 of the 1981 F-150 XLT Godzilla engine swap. Unintentional because I really didn't think I would have anything more to tell you. Well, not so soon. I could tell that some changes would have to be made to the truck after putting so much more power into it. This is really a lesson. When you add power to your vehicle, there are no shortcuts. Only consequences if you don't completely think through the project. Sort of a I told you so situation. Welcome to Road Odyssey. Please like and subscribe, follow my Facebook page, and view any of my hundreds of car and travel videos. The 1981 Ford F-150 XLT that recently got an engine swap. Well, it was out with the original engine and transmission, and there it lies, kicked off to the side like a poor little orphan. Well, this Godzilla is 445 cubic inches, 7.3 liter fuel injection engine. Iron block, aluminum heads and pistons, steel crankshaft, and a 87 millimeter intake throttle body. A variable displacement oil pump. It came with some other parts like the wiring harness and blah blah blah. It replaced the original 351 Windsor 5.8 liter or 289 that looks similar. The original trans was a Ford C6 3-speed automatic. Well, bye-bye old powertrain. So what's the problem with simply adding more power to this truck? Well, as myself and many people wishing to have fun immediately, now we do power mods first, then revisit reality afterwards. I actually joked with the Callaways that while I was looking at the rear suspension and a few other parts, not that I know everything about cars, but I've been down this path before with my 2005 C6, and I can tell the overall suspension of this truck was maybe not good enough for the new level of power. Okay, I'm getting a little uppity here and ahead of myself. Well, sort of. Here's what happened. The F-150 Godzilla, while running well, had a problem running right at higher RPMs and higher highway speeds, say over 70 miles per hour. It bogged at these higher speeds. It just wasn't getting a good air-fuel mixture and or timing at those speeds. The Callaways discussed options. So they thought they would go and put the original crate Godzilla air intake manifold on, get all their data recorded to send to a Fort Worth tuner, but they could no longer put this intake manifold on. It just wouldn't fit right. There were parts in the way and blah blah blah, so they could not do that. So they got the edelbrock air intake manifold and just put that back on because it fits and it didn't interfere with any other parts, and it's just the throttle body was aimed in the right direction for this application, so they just had to keep going in this direction. So they had another group discussion, figure out what to do. They came to the conclusion that they just need a good tune or a new set of air-fuel mapping. Now, with the engine together with the intake manifold of choice, they began to get some data from the engine to send to a tuner in Fort Worth. That initial data reading, it couldn't be used, so Alex pulled out the laptop and got what they needed to send to Fort Worth for review and preparation of a dyno tune. The Fort Worth tuner got the Callaway's truck's data, and they said they could tune the truck, which meant that the truck next had to be verified for at least good front brakes. It was out with the old brake booster and in with the new one. Also, the new one needed lots of dialing in and brake bleeding, blah, blah, blah. This, of course, would help the truck, making sure the Callaway's got to Fort Worth and back to Paris, Texas safely. The next day or so, they went to the tuner, and Alex was very kind to take these video clips for both me and the client. Super nice, Alex. Thanks. How did the truck do? Well, the results are 444 horsepower at the engine, 370 horsepower under stress, and 410 wheel torque. Very nice. I'd say that makes this a really good sleeper truck upgrade, wouldn't you? Now, when Jason and Alex returned from Fort Worth, the brakes were cooked. The front for sure. Well, somewhat predictable considering the extra weight, added power, long distance driving, and we all kind of suspected something like this would happen anyway. This, to me, in my slightly experienced, humble, over-opinionated opinion, would indicate that all suspension, rear suspension, maybe the drive shaft U-joints, and any other braking would have to be seriously considered for upgrades or updating in the very least. Don't you agree? I mean, really? Well, a few days later, the Callaways did a full all-round brake system repair, including replacing worn-out calipers, drum pistons, etc. Whoa, hang on a minute. I thought I was done with this video, had it all uploaded to YouTube, only to find out today that this proportioner valve was bad. It was another component bad in regard to the brake system for this truck. So that goes to show I was right. There's more junk in this truck that needs to be fixed. But wait, there's even more. The fuel switch between the two tanks and the single fuel pump was not quite what was needed for this particular application. It had to be completely changed out. The plan of attack? Well, rip out the old system. Not literally, but taking everything out, starting over. So they ended up putting in a dual pump system, more towards the tanks. So there they are, the two pumps. One's for the front tank, one's for the rear tank. Then the tank switched itself with all the return lines and stuff in front of the two pumps closest to the engine. What this ultimately did, it was a better system for providing a better fuel source to the engine, because it was basically starving for fuel at the higher RPMs and speed. So yes, the dyno tune was very much needed, but this was another part of the puzzle for this engine swap. I got up at dawn and went to Callaway Customs for more. Got a little bit here to illustrate the actual performance in case you were interested. At idle, the RPM is about 750. Oil pressure close to 40 plus, fairly standard. While cruising at about 60, the oil pressure is still between 40 and 50. RPM is about 1500. The engine has a variable displacement oil pump system, so you will see the oil pressure shoot up when accelerating. even when slightly accelerating, you will see this. Here is a 20 to 75 mile per hour pull example. Now a 0 to 60 mile per hour pull with tire spin through the first few gears. They filled both gas tanks, washed it off, checked the wheel lugs, and called the customer to pick it up. They were done, and now they're saying bye. Thanks a ton for watching. I really do appreciate it. Remember, I have a ton of videos you might like, including the part 1 of this Godzilla engine swap. Be sure to monitor my Facebook page too. And with that, please relax, take it easy, and I will see you later. Bye.